Hey, it's Mark, RPM Tesla Aftermarket Accessories. Today we're going to show everybody how to install our Model 3 real open pore wood veneer center console overlay. Now this is the very popular wood overlay. By now you've scanned this QR code and you're watching the video, or you're considering purchasing it. But either way, thank you. We're going to show you how to install it today. We're going to show you how easy it is, how simple it is, and we want everyone to understand more about it and how to get the best results. So let's talk about preparation. What you need is some painter's tape, a pair of scissors, and a microfiber towel. That's all you're going to need to get this installed. So let's begin with preparation and cleaning. All right, now let's start with preparation. So we all have the same glossy black center consoles in our Model 3s. In order for this to bond and hold on to it, we have to clean it very well. So don't spray on the plastic, okay? Use rubbing alcohol, dilute it if you want, 70% max by volume, and just wipe it off quickly and get all the grease, oils, any loose debris, any remnants of anything that may impede or hinder the adherence. Okay? So we'll just stay right at one spot, one length apart, and make sure it's dry and it's spotless, okay? This really makes a difference. Like, see this adhesive here where another customer had a vinyl wrap on it? That's not going to hold there. So use the alcohol. Alcohol takes off adhesive, dried out adhesive. Okay, now let's talk about what's in the box. So what's in the box is only 4 things, all 4 pieces of the kit. So I'll put it right here. We'll show it in detail. Now this is the upper piece. Many people don't know that at the very top, underneath their center console, they have one more area of double-sided or of glossy black paint. So again, this is our real open pore wood veneer, which is laminated under so many thousands of pounds of pressure. I think it's all on the website up here. 150 tons of pressure are used to bond this wood veneer to the aluminum. It doesn't come off, it doesn't separate, it can be flexed, it could be bent. So you can see this. If you ever have a problem and you think it's not going to lay down straight, just bend it back. It's flexible, bendable, because the aluminum is thicker than the wood. So anyway, that's the first piece. So we'll put that down here. The next piece is the flip drawer piece, and you'll see how this is curved to match the radius of the flipping drawer, which is right down here. So this is curved to match it. And if you notice, the back of it has 3M VHB tape on the back, which is mounted to the perimeter and to any of the areas where the plastic bonding surface needs to be matched. So for instance, this is going to fit right on here like this, right over the top. Now, if you receive one and you get it and you think it's not going to fit because see how it flexes, don't be afraid, just bend it a little bit. You can curve it, bend it, flex it. We've had a lot of customers really afraid if you break anything, bending it too much, we'll send you a replacement at no charge. But just be gentle and firm, and you'll notice that you can push the aluminum down to curve it, to bend it. We're trying to make sure they ship out with the exact matching radius. So all you're going to do is remove the tape, stick it down, and it's going to look perfect. Look how it matches the dash. There's sunlight, there's shade. You can see how perfect it'll match. So again, matching this has taken us over 2 years to get this down and perfect. Be careful with the lip because you can chip the edge. So this is one of the most important things we're going to talk about. We're trying not to bore too many people. Again, so here's the first 2 pieces. This is the upper piece, which is going to go underneath. This is the flipping piece. This is the trapezoid. So this is the trapezoid that's going to get mounted right here. And lastly is the cup holder. Now, the cup holder piece is very different and probably the most expensive one to make. This is for 2 reasons. The stamping machine we use has to make it perfectly recessed and stamped to make this perfect lip around all of this. Also, we have an invisible hole in the middle, so people don't really know about this, but because of the key card in your car, if you ever want to hook up a cell phone or one of our great rings from Honsho or any other kind of key card accessory like a key fob, you need access to this location on the cup holder area. So you need to be able to put your key card down. So since we're installing this beautiful wood veneer cover, how are you going to do that? Well, the aluminum underneath here will block the signal. So we have a very special size hole cut, filled with wood. So when you put this down on the car and you put your key card down, you'll hear your car beep and unlock every time. So there is no problem with the signal from the key card working because we have that solved. And again, look at how beautiful and how smooth the felt is. So nothing is going to get damaged. This is going to protect your center console as well as bringing the wood look from the dashboard into the car. So again, that's the unit. So let's get started with installation. We have a lot of precautions, and we also have a lot of things to go over after you put it on. That's why we're going to use this double-sided tape. This double-sided tape is essential for keeping the bond. One thing again, 3M VHB double-sided tape requires 3 days or 72 hours to achieve a full bond. So that's why pressure-sensitive adhesive double-sided tape like this has to be pushed down, pressed on, and then we need to secure it in place so it will not come loose on you. Even in extreme temperatures over 150 degrees, we have tested this in weather. This wood is sealed. This wood is laminated. It's never going to separate from the aluminum. It's not going to stain if you spill coffee on it or water on it. We've used every precaution we can to make this the best wood open pore solution on the market. So again, try it. Now we always tell everybody, try putting all the pieces in place. Don't remove the red lining paper from the double-sided tape unless you're sure you want to keep this. If you don't like it, please send it back. No restocking fees, no questions asked. We just only want to make sure that when you put it on and you put all the pieces together that you love it, you love the way it looks, you like the feel of it, you like the color, you like everything about it. So we want you to understand that this is going to go down like this. I like to put a little bend in it. And this is going to cover up and fit around the cup holder like this. It's going to fit perfectly in with the raised up aluminum liner, or the rails as we call it, on the sides. So it's going to hold down just like this on the left side, and then on the right side. On the left side, we want you to see the fitment here. So take a look at this. It's going to fit absolutely perfect. You're going to press it down. There's also leeway. We've had a couple of customers say it wouldn't fit, but look at how the center console can be pulled apart and widened and narrowed. You have a lot of room or flexibility here. So please don't think it won't fit. We stamped these out of a press, and the aluminum and wood are made separately, but see how you can pull the side apart and get a perfect fit. Now, perfect fitment was our goal, and that's why it took us 2 years to make this, because in order to make this fit perfect on this side, it has to fit perfect on this side. It's okay. This way it's super easy to install. So notice over here, right inside, how tight this is going to fit. Just like this, all the way down the side. You're going to absolutely love it. And then it's going to be sitting just like this. So again, when you're checking it out and you want it to look flush and OEM and original, look how we go under the rails here. Look how it fits right up to it, butt up to it. So it looks so flush, it doesn't stick up, and it's still recessed slightly like the original plastic. Okay, so that's enough about selling it. We just want people to understand how easy it is to install. So we think you should start with the cup holder piece, again with the open invisible hole for the key card. And so again, it's always smart to wipe it down one more time, even after you have test driven it, so to speak, and you've tried it and you're sure you like it and you want to proceed with installation. Now we have sold about 500 of these already, so we definitely understand everything you may be going through, but don't worry, this is going to be super easy to install. Now, I like to use a pair of scissors, and we have to pick at the red liner. So again, this is the lining tape of the 3M VHB, and you have to just get it loose and peel it off. Okay? It's really, really important also that when you install this, that you get it down in the correct location the first time. We've had a couple of people install it a little off center, and when they reinstall it, you do lose some of the strength provided by the VHB tape. So please try to follow along with this installation, and it's really important that you install it correctly and get it down the first time. If for some reason you put this piece down, or any of the 4 pieces down, and you have to lift it up and readjust it, you need to use a little bit of heat. Now what heat will do is it will loosen up the double-sided tape and allow it to be removed. So imagine there's a thin layer of adhesive on top of this foam. If that gets warm, it'll release. It's got to get really hot to release, and it's going to take a lot of pressure. So don't think it's going to ever come loose on you, but if you want to remove it, you do want to use heat, a heat gun or a hairdryer. Okay, so we've got all the pieces off, and you can see how nicely it's going to fit and how nicely you're going to just simply hold it in your hand like this. Now this is the easiest piece to install, because all we're going to do is open up the flip drawer, put it on the edge up here. So see how I'm right on the edge, and just simply put your fingers on the edge, and you want to make sure you're not hanging over the edge. So I have my fingers here, I have the wood on top, I check my corner, I check this corner, make sure I'm nice and squared up. So right on the edge, just like this, all the way across. Now you're going to press it down, and you can pretty much let go of the whole thing. And let's start with the side here. Now look how I'm putting a lot of pressure on it, and that way it's going to bond, and it's going to adhere to the plastic underneath. So we're going to go all the way down, pressing it down just on the right side. Now use your towel and put some pressure on it. Okay, so see how nicely this is just grabbing and gripping? It's only going to do this if it's spotless, if it's clean, if it's perfectly free of any loose debris. It's still elevated, it's not pushed all the way down. And look how the sides move. You see how we have this flexibility? So don't worry if for some reason you've put it on and you don't think it's going to line up perfectly. You can push this in and out. But I'm going to proceed with a normal installation. Just pushing it down, helping that 3M double-sided VHB tape adhere. So I'm putting pressure on the side so I get a real nice tight fit. And the reason we use the towel is we don't want to scratch the wood, of course. We don't want to use anything abrasive. So that piece is down. I'm going to close the armrest, and you can see how nice it fits around the radiuses of the cup holders. Completely covers up all the plastic. And while we're here, I'm going to do the one thing that we were going to do at the very end, but we might as well do it as we finish the pieces. So this is painter's tape. It leaves literally no residue on walls or anything you want to use it on. But this is going to be used as our 72-hour assistant. This is what we're going to use on here to put pressure on. So watch how this works. Just put tape on here for about 1 inch, push it down, and wrap it around the side panel. This is just going to apply some extra pressure here. And again, that 72 hours is critical. It has to have the pressure on for 72 hours. Same thing on this side. Put the tape on the wood first and pull downward so it's putting pressure on. Okay, The rest of it normally doesn't require anything. This is a flat area. As long as you've pushed on it good, it's gonna grab and hold. And look at how beautiful it fits, how nice it fits. Getting this edge exactly the same angle took us so long. We're so proud of the product. Okay, so now we're gonna do the flip. The flip is very difficult to do because of potential damage you can do to it because of the location and the approximation to the cup holder. So notice the cup holder. Again, I'm making sure there's no streaks. There's nothing on this. So we call this part the cup holder piece. I'm sorry, the flip drawer, because this is what flips, okay? Again, I just touched it again, trying to keep hands off. So before I remove the tape, I want people to check the shape. It's really important you make sure that it's going to sit flat. Now, double-sided tape from this angle is going to make this sit flat. It's going to hold it down. But if it's not flat enough, don't be afraid to simply turn it over and bend it a little bit. You want it to fit good. You want it to sit flat before you take the tape off. And another thing, the center console itself is wide all the way to the rails. The cup drawer, the cup holder, and the trapezoid. They're very wide. They have to have a tolerance to open and close. They have to have a slight gap. But if you notice, one thing about the flip drawer is that it's narrower. It's the narrowest of all three parts. And this is, again, because it has to move, it has to flex back and forth. So it doesn't cover up the entire area or the gaps. So you'll notice if you took a pen, look how you could put the pen down inside. So the cup holder piece has the biggest gaps on the right and left side. That's why we made our part an improvement, I believe, to make it a little bit wider. So you'll notice if I line up this corner here with the 2x lens, if you notice that this corner, when lined up on that edge, will hang over the right side. If you go way to the right side, it'll hang over more. So that's why this is going to be centered like this. You're going to put it in here perfect. You're not going to go too far to the left. You're not going to go too far to the right. So it's going to be put on just like this. And we're going to lay it down like this. And we're going to put pressure on it all the way down. And this is the most important part. The bottom of this flip drawer, if it's too close to the wood, you can damage it. So see how this part obviously recesses and goes down inside the center console. If you have something on here, it's too close, it's going to clip this. So we've had customers crack this, chip this, damage this. So it's really important to know before you install this, don't put it this close. It's going to hit it for sure. It's going to chip. This is designed to fit like this. And if you put your fingers on top, on the top, you can see how it's flush on the top and it's flush all the way down here, and you're going to have this gap. Now this gap is very important to have because you have to have about 2 millimeters of clearance or this won't go down inside. Okay, so we really want everyone to understand that. Back up a little bit there. No, down. That you need to have this much of a gap. If you put it this close to the bottom to make it look nice, you're going to cut it and catch it. See, it's going to chip. So you have to put it flush on the top. And this is how we're going to install it in a minute, so you can't do this incorrectly. We're going to put it flush on the top. We're going to push our fingers down like this, all the way down the sides with the sound effects. And then it's going to sit like this when it's closed. So it's going to look this beautiful, okay? It's going to sit perfect, and it can't be like that. It can't be that close, or you're going to damage it. And we'll know when you try to send it back, because we'll say, how did it get chipped here? So please, start at the top with your fingers flush on the top, and then we're going to hold that down just like that, and we're going to put pressure on the edges all the way down. And you see the distance? of the gap, it's going to look just like that. And it's not going to hit. And it's going to look perfect. So again, if you don't like this 1 millimeter gap, please don't install it. Please return it. Don't say it's defective. Don't tell us it doesn't fit, because you can make it fit. You can flex this thing and bend this thing. Again, we're going to do it all for you. But if you start at the top up here and you center it, you'll get a perfect installation every time you may do this. So let's move on and install it and show you how easy it is. Of course, I've done several of these, and what we're going to do one more time is just give this a quick wipe down. I want to get all the fingerprints off, anything I may have left on there, and only put this on when this is to the correct shape and it fits perfect. So it could be like this, it could be like this. Just make sure that it's nice and flat with a slight curve here. And don't be afraid to turn it over and bend it. All right, enough. I'm tired of hearing myself. Sorry. But, you know, 90% of customers love it. They put it on perfect, but we've had a lot of customers that have found some difficulty, and it's probably because of the first video. So anyway, this is the new video that we have learned from. We've learned from our great customers, and we've learned from people that just had some difficulty putting it on. So again, don't pull up the tape, just grab the backing. See how I'm doing this? I'm putting it just like this, and just picking at it to get the liner to release. And don't touch any of this as you flip it around in your hands. If you get your fingerprints on this, you're gonna lose the adhesive strength. So don't touch this, okay? Don't touch any of this. Hold on to the felt, okay? All right, now open up the trapezoid and get it out of the way. And now we're gonna start like this. And we're going to simply put the top edge down. So you should be nice and centered there, perfect. Now right there is the top. So I'm not touching it yet. So I'm gonna put my fingers on top as I center it, and my finger on this top as I center it. So right now, it's stuck. It's on there, okay? And you know it because it's flush. It's very easy to do. It's flush. Now, you can't just drop it down right now, because then it'll be too long. So we have to push it down and make sure it covers the area of the radius. So how do you do that? Okay, you're gonna take the top, you're gonna push it down. So now it's down all the way, flat and flush. And now you have a little bit of leeway here to go right or left, okay? So if you've got the top edge down, perfect. Then you have holding it in your hand here, and like I showed you in the in our practice round, that you're going to be pushing the edges down. So you want to get up high, and you want to make sure that you are centered correctly. You don't want to see a lot of plastic over here. You don't want to see a lot of plastic over here. So right now, notice how I'm flexing it back and forth. So this is your last chance to make alignment corrections. So just place this edge down like this, and slide your finger and then look at the other side. If you have any adjustment needs, this is the time to do it. And all the way down. Now, I'm getting closer. So remember, there's double-sided tape going across here. So I'm applying pressure. And again, you can use the towel or your fingers. Just put pressure on it. It's gotta grab. It's gotta grab, and make sure you have no air trapped under here. Okay, so now let's get a low angle here to show everyone what we're looking at as we get to this point, driver's point of view. Again, I still have leeway to go left and right, and I'm gonna push this all the way down. I'm still keeping my thumb under it, notice this, all the way down like this. And now this side, and now I'm letting go of it and sliding it all the way down. Okay, this is its final location. and hold this down and put pressure on it. Okay, we all know this thing flexes and pivots. If you put the pressure on here and put the pressure on there, you'll have no clearance issues. So remember, you got to make sure that you're not dragging or hitting this, and you are going to see this reflection. If I take all the light out, you'll see it's black, it's darkness inside. Hold it right there. So you'll notice that, see, there is nothing showing but light reflection on the edge of the black. So now if you see from a high view, that's all you're going to see. But you need that. Otherwise, you're not going to have the clearance to open and close your flip drawer. Remember, the flip drawers open like this, and they also open like this. So there's two ways to open it. Okay, now let's tape it. So now we've got to tape the areas that need reinforcement. They need extra pressure while the 3M tape is bonding. Hey, also, I just realized that this customer has our beautiful wood veneer steering wheel in the car. We put this in her car a long time ago. And this is the wood dash, this is the steering wheel. Now we have the center console. The next thing we have coming out is going to be these turn signal, the steering wheel accents in the wood veneer. And also over here. So we're going to do door switches, steering wheel accents. But look at how beautiful it looks with all this wood in the car. Real open pore wood. And the steering wheel. We've only sold about 20 of these, but this may make it more popular. It's the same open pore wood, and it's got a beautiful, beautiful look to it. All right, so let's put the tape on now. So you need a couple pieces of tape, and we recommend the first place to put it is here on the ends. So the corners need this extra pressure. So please, please put it on the wood and wrap it around the back all the way. Doesn't matter if it tears. Then put a piece on this corner, put it on the top like this, and pull it down. Okay, so you need to have this pressure on here, and 72 hours is recommended. You have to keep it on here or it's not going to hold. So please listen to us. We've been on 3M's website, and if you leave this tape on for only 24 hours, you're only going to achieve a 50% bond. So that's their scientific facts. So please listen, please, please, please. 3 days, you'll be annoyed by the blue tape. This is the only way to make sure these corners are down. Now, let's take a look over here. So this is part of the radius, okay? So this is the area that some people get lifts. So we don't want you to have lifts. And if you hear a ticking sound, if you ever notice a tick, 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 it means the tape's not holding because it didn't receive enough pressure. So you need to put more tape on it there as well. So one piece here is good. It's a little more difficult because you don't have a big gap. So let's put it right about there. So again, this is the curved area. Push it down like this, wrap it around the back, close it, make sure it's, and don't worry about it, forget about it. Okay. And now this side, same thing. Tape it here. I even like to go on an angle sometimes, it makes it a little easier. So put the tape on an angle like this, push down, so you're pushing pressure and you're wrapping it around the back, okay? Now this thing is solid, it's not going anywhere. The only other place that might be a good place to put it is here, but it's a little hard when you need access to this drawer. But let's assume you don't need it and you want to just put a piece on here. So put a piece on here, push this down on the top, and don't push too far, and just put one piece on there and wrap it around. This is just going to help this, even though this is all flat, and if you've applied enough pressure, you don't need it. So this is optional. All right. Okay, now we're going to do the trapezoid and the upper piece, the last two pieces. So I'll put that one away. And again, we want to peel all of the red liner backing tape cover. I wish we knew the exact name of this. We know it's VHB tape, but this is a red lining backing plastic liner. Anyway, all right. So we'll get all 5 of these pieces off. And again, this one has a slight curve to it. So I really want to talk about this, and hopefully I won't touch the tape. We've had a lot of customers receive these, and they were this shape. They were kind of bowed out. So we're checking everyone to make sure they're slightly curved, just to match this. Notice how there's a slight curve to it. And if you get it for some reason and you receive it like this, please push it down, bend it. Don't make it too curved, okay? Don't make it crazy curved. Just a little slight radius to it, because you don't want anything sticking up. And remember the flexibility we have because of the aluminum. All right, final wipe down. Make sure everything's off of here, especially if you're upgrading from vinyl. So many customers are upgrading from vinyl. Get all that wiped off with rubbing alcohol. Now, again, remove these 2 pieces of tape, always up here. Remove these 2 pieces of tape, the optional ones, and open up your flip drawer. And now what we're going to do is just kind of, remember, all the liners off, and we're going to go in for a little high angle view. Now, one thing, looking way underneath, you don't want to go up too high. If you go up too high, it'll chip when it opens and closes. So this is our flip drawer. This is our trapezoid that goes up and down. So you want to make sure you're not too high. And the way to do that is to keep it flush on the bottom. So notice what I'm doing now is I'm keeping it up here. I'm looking at my alignment right and left, and I'm setting down the lip. So this lip is right there, and I'm keeping my hands on it to make sure I'm flush. See how I had to lift that up? I'm going to do that again. So if you're too low or too high, pull it up, move it slightly, and stay flush on this lip. Okay, so now I'm flush. So now, just like with the trap door, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to push it down a little, and I don't want to see any of the black, glossy black plastic. So I'm pushing this down. So remember, this has one long strip under it. Now that that's down, and I'm centered good, we're just going to take our fingers and go along the edges and lay it all the way down, just like this. And we were very careful not to make this too wide, because too wide will drag. If you're off a little bit, it'll drag. It won't open and close. It'll like get stuck. So this piece took a lot of design and engineering perfection. And now I'm pushing along the tape edges underneath. I'm holding it down, pushing on the tape edges here and across the top. So remember how many pieces we had underneath. Pressure sensitive adhesive requires pressure. Please push it, squeeze it, pull it towards you, squeeze it down, and then we're going to tape it up so it doesn't move around. So now this piece is perfect. It looks great. Check it out. Now, before we put our blue tape down on these edges, we're going to get ready to install the upper piece. Just take some blue tape, wrap it around this edge like this, pull down, tear it. It doesn't matter. Same thing on this edge. You need this pressure, so please do this. We know it's ugly. We know people are going to think, why do you got tape all over your car? Well, if you don't do it and leave it on for 72 hours, it can loosen up. And these are not going to loosen up in the heat or the cold, as long as they're stuck down flat and flush. Okay? Now I'll do this corner. Same thing, like this. Perfect. Square, tear it off. Same thing here, down, square, ripped under. And this whole edge here has a slight curve to it. So you'll notice that. So you gotta make sure this is flattened. So same thing, we're gonna run one more piece of tape right across this, like that. Push it down, and then pressure. See, I'm putting pressure from my fingers down. And you have to be flush. If you're not flush, you need to lift it up and move it. And you may need more tape. Every case is going to be different. Okay, now the last piece, number 4. Now let's take a look way underneath, and I need to explain where this goes and how far you need to insert it. So way down low, you're going to notice that this is the piece here. It needs to go under. See how I'm sticking it underneath? It needs to go like up, like this, under, sliding it all the way up. And you got to do all this without letting it touch. And this has to clear. So you can't have it too far down. So this is the clearance issue I was discussing. You can't have this piece, the trapezoid piece, too high or it's going to catch. So that needs to be there. It needs to open and close and not interfere with this. Okay? So this one is a little tricky, but don't worry. The best part is we've got it covered with double-sided tape. So even if you got to move it or adjust it, it's not going to be there. So let's get the scissors and pick this tape off. Also, don't forget, now I didn't clean it, did I? So wipe this down up there, all the way across, back and forth. And here we go. So we're going to pick at this, and peel it. Pick and peel. Okay, now, this one again is completely flat, so it doesn't need any tape, and there's so much double-sided tape on here, I wouldn't worry about putting any kind of painter's tape up there. So let's go down in low and see how we're gonna do this. So I like to hold the corner and insert this way underneath like that, and get a spot, put a little pressure on it, put this one, curve it a little bit, and push it up on top. Now, I haven't pushed it all the way down because I want to make sure the clearance is okay. If the clearance is okay, put your fingers on here, make sure it's flush. You can always pull it up, put it back down, push it down hard, and there you go. So now, you can see from the driver's point of view, this side, the super wide angle, how nice it looks. You can see the shine, the reflection, the amount of lacquer requirements and the waterproofing to get it the same as the dashboard. The same open pore feel you get is exactly the same. So that's it, it's done, it's installed. And as long as you've got pressure on the sides, they may put a couple more pieces of tape on here. Remember, this area here is a little curved, so the double-sided tape is essential. We'll put these optional pieces back. And we're sure you're going to love this for many years to come. Put the tape up in the middle, like this. Open it up, pull it down, and tear it. Having that extra pressure in there, it's going to really help. Same thing on the left side. Pressure down. And again, we really have sold a lot of molded pieces like this, whether it's carbon or wood or not. And you notice on this side here, the only reason you're ever going to have a gap here is if you didn't push it down. You didn't hold it down. You didn't secure it down. This aluminum will only want to lift up if it's misshaped, if it's bowed. So just flex it, bend it, as we told you, and make sure that over time it won't want to lift or bounce back. Metal, like rubber and plastic, has memory to it, so it always wants to return to its original shape after it's stamped out of a big sheet of aluminum, just like our fenders and our doors and all the panels on our aluminum product or aluminum parts on our Teslas. Thanks again. This is our real open pore wood center console. It's in stock. You get all 4 pieces like we went over. It matches great, and it's real wood, laminated over the aluminum. So it's the perfect match. And again, 150-ton press laminates this for 160 degrees for 3 minutes. This aluminum is not going to separate from the wood, and it's not going to stain, and it's waterproof, stain-proof. Clean it with mild soap and water as needed. And look at the fitment, and look at how awesome it fits. We love it, and we think everybody loves it. Thanks again for checking in. RPM Tesla Aftermarket Accessories. And we're going to have hundreds of these in stock soon. We'll be all caught up on orders. As you notice, if you're looking at it on our website, this item is not, this item is handmade. It's not made in China. And it's a 2 to 3 week lead time. But this is all going to be gone soon. If this is gone, it means it's in stock and it ships within 1 to 10 days, depending on the shipping choice you make at checkout. All right, thanks again. And want to make sure that this is the most critical thing, that it opens and closes. Don't let this drag. Don't let this piece hit this piece. And it'll look perfect and you'll love it forever and ever. All right, thanks again. It's Mark, and we appreciate your business. Happy holidays, and stay safe. And don't forget, get one of our KN95 masks. It is November 2020 when we're recording this, and we're giving these out for free, as well as the non-surgical types. Thank you.